This day 1588 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yom Eat there doing your day Simon Shin Chav Dalet Sif Lamed Beis to Lamed Ches. Base each doctor is a believe your Ram's the parak sign to your Alpha. Let's analyze the Rambam. Shekas about not tell somebody takes a sourdough from dough. Shlo hurma chalasa, for which chalas not been taken. And also toch isa shurma chalasa puts into a dough where the chalas already been taken. As maybe isa shnia brings a different separate dough, the third dough. Sheyeba im sor zet shir isa. That should be together with the sor, which was untight enough to make up the measure of a dough. Shachavis challah, which is obligated challah. No, so tocha isa shuma challah. So he puts it into the dough for which challah has been taken. Mafish mina isa shnia take from that second, which is really a third dough, because it's sourdough, the dough, and the second dough, which is the third dough. Hope that wasn't confusing. Shir challah allow take challah on it, sorry, and on the sourdough. In order to take from the from one location, one. I don't know if I ever tried to book of precisely accurate way, but it has to all be from the same place, the same bowl, whatever. If it doesn't have a second dough, nasi sekulo tevel. And this is said for this dough, in which you put the untight sourdough, because complete tevel, marvish chalakoi set aside chal on all of it. Shek tevel oser mina b'chol because tevel asers b'mino, and the sourdough is the mino of the dough. B'choshu v'akal l'shano. V'ena move on. It is not understood. Lama yitzich deis sheyeh b'shir chal masor. Why require that the new dough you bring should have a shir chal with the sourdough? Hasor b'ma isa cheves. This already comes from dough which is obligated. Shlom chamaloso, from which chal has not been taken yet anyway. If it's accounted the second dough, once it becomes connected to this or which is obligated, it automatically becomes chayav as well. The nisho mitzdarif, because when it bites together, it joins together. Which cause as he himself wrote, these bar will be clarified later on. By this we can say the amos mitzdarif when it's joined together. Shenasa mishneim shir chala, when it becomes then because two of them become together shir chala. But without that, one of them is chayim neshabam is chayav because it comes from a dough which is chayim. Nevertheless, eno chayav so shir does not obligate the second one. Sheminam jiachad shir isa chayav chal. They don't have a connection in that both of them together make up the size of a dough which is chayim chala. Lama gimel mi uzel vade. However, this is clear. It's certainly astonishing. Since he said by himself, "Nasi su kula tevel," that this dough which you put the sourdough becomes completely tevel. Why require in another dough? You bring here the shir of chal imasor, the shir of chal together with this with sourdough. But you call it the nasi kusor, the entire dough which you introduce sourdough becomes like the sourdough. Talking about the kenu. Okay, this could better be good, so to speak. Because this is a great good question. The vitamin nation tevel osa b'chol marino, since tevel asers in the smallest amount, if it's the same species, nasa kilu kulu tevel, the entire thing becomes as if it's tevel. Rak midrabonon. Right, it doesn't. Right, so it's still a speck. Rama my b'chal chal kein do rice compared to so, and the Rama was talking about a chal which is akin to the raisa. Like in Eretz Yisrael. There's evidence from the core fact that requires mukaf. Chutzarts lo made it mukaf. And chutzarts don't require mukaf. As he done got in this arva sor shlorma chalosa toch isa shuma chalosa in chashash klal. By us, it's not a problem in chutzarts. If a sor from which challah has not been taken gets mixed up to an dough where challah has been taken, it's no issue. You can take from the sourdough stockpile is what I'm looking for when they're not getting it. The sourdough batch. That's the word. The sourdough batch. This could work for the sour, which is in the new dough, because You don't have to be, doesn't have to be in mukaf. Like fire fish already set aside. Also, gamasor that in other words, already separated challah from that from the sourdough batch. So the sore is already tight. Also, gamasor worked on the sore came to mukaf. You don't require mukaf mechutzlaretz. Chen be'eretz Yisrael yitzir shir pein asor be'isar shnia shir challah. Therefore, Eretz Yisrael required that there should be between the sor and the isar shnia together shir challah. Isar shnia meaning the third dough that you bring. The shir of challah. Okay, let's say chavas challah gamin hator. In order to be able to challah, also midaraisa. But if he doesn't have another one, you have to lie the fact that tevel asks the choshuv, nazakul tevel, and the totality becomes tevel. And even though it's only the rabbanon, that becomes mimino asks b'choshuv. No, that's not the issue. Even though. I'm not sure. Yeah, the fact that kul tevel, right, becomes, the fact that this means, Asas makes entirely tevel, even though it's Rabbanan. A gam merit so and a gam merit so was on a chal Rabbanan. So therefore, the challah is valid chal Rabbanan. Ahim me Ezra, even though it's Ezra, is still Rabbanan, which could have seen in Shin Chabez. Okay. It's okay. It's not, still not glad to say that Rambam was talking about Eretz Yisrael, not telling us about it. But okay, don't a better shot, that's for sure. Ram only mentions that tevel asks b'mino, no matter how small the speck. But that which is the sourdough gives a taste to the entirety of the dough. Doesn't mention it. He holds this like he holds it pras. That in order to be considered the substance of the Isser, it has to be gazais b'chteichel pras, shiochel pras, and to eat the entire pras. Near Rabbeinu Ramah, b'sif Yulav hachdina, the maybe Isa Malcolm Macher, this law to bring it over somewhere else. Kosav is Shloy writes as follows: Feel aim is shiachala, even the other dough that's not a shiachala. Well, actually, I guess the sourdough doesn't have shiachala. Vad sheyinicheno eitzel Isa gdol, as long as you put it by the big dough. No, the big dough is one which the sore is. That's it. I say the mashal head. It seems explicit. Shloitzer sheyeh b'asor shir chalak rama. It does require that the new dough that you bring, the second/third dough, should have together with the sore the shir of challah, and does not require it. And the Mitzvah Chol joins with the rest of this dough, which was tight, but now has this untight sourdough mixed in. The Gam Belosha Turma Vorkane, Iron Shem seems away from the door as well. So I'm Rashud the Kolis and Nazis Kichiv. The dough becomes as if it's Chaim, Neisha Tevel, Shatevel Isamino. Since the Tevel Asers in the same type, Bechoshu, no matter how small the speck, I can't limit Tzrichi Samachutz, but that's the case. Why didn't he eat the third party dough? Must mean that you don't need to have, it doesn't mean that the entirety of the dough does not have to have shiachala, but this or does not have to have shiachala, as long as the third dough does have the shiachala. It says here, the Gra writes that way as well. But the language does not seem to indicate that for tzarich. In brackets, it says here, Odla tur levad, the tevel oser b'choshu who saw no same time. Well, besides that, there's an issue no same time here as well, which would make the dough in which the sourdough is placed more of a chiyuv. That no same time makes it like an ikar, even legabe the iser of a duk. Laminate ukmo shen is bar shen is arev or like we explained when a sourdough which is mechuyev and chal gets mixed into an exempt dough. The same thing is true if you have sourdough which is pater, such where the chal is ever taken, or shakuti, or of a non-Jew, which got mixed into a dough of chiyuv. You take from another dough the second/third dough, as we said. Matov, how good that would be. If not, vishmine bay, you could you can tight internally. Because everything gets mixed proportionally. So nevertheless, it's prevalent. But often by bakers, leave a little bit of the dough for tomorrow. And they make a new dough. I guess they use it as a starter. Fermented. But Isa Shiniach, I guess, I don't know. That dough you left from yesterday is already exempt. We're not concerned when you take challah from today's dough. You tell challah isa b'tura, you're going to take from challah from yesterday's dough, which is a component of the new dough. The came to because there's proportional mixture. It seems to be says even those makers say that we don't say it's proportionally mixed. She has no concern. Came wet to see since it's a very small amount. Anisha that which left yesterday. We assume that you're going to take from the majority. That's called the barish. Although called the barish normally has to be from comes on its own, not where you separate it. But befrat b'tchel chalos chutzlaretz bevada yesh yismoch zevelishim book session in chutzlaretz. You can rely on this without any doubt. The brackets it brings them Mashavi at Taz. So when you give him a shach, sipka the chaval be maharil shemachal the total yotzim in asor. It's not to take challah more than the total amount of the sourdough. Somebody told me because maybe we take from the potter sourdough and Shem ulay yasor move. Maybe there was a lot of sourdough there. I'll be done in an hour dough. Ain't lachush not concerned because it's a very small amount. I think that's where Pascal halacha. Magan road paskin the kam on the hbila, especially since most Muslims seem told the hbila that there's a proportional mixture of a duke. Lafav Kosra Bein Ramah. The Ramah writes, "Come Chatchil lo yismach hazeh." Chatchil not rely on this eitzah, on this suggestion. Just don't put exempt sourdough into an obligated dough. But if you violated and you did it, at that point you're allowed to take even deliberately from that dough, and put into another dough, shebo lissa or you should use it for sourdough. Interesting. Arukh HaShulchan, what does that mean? Klomar meaning you put sor which is exempt. Into isa which is chayev. You have to rely on mixing. Take challah from there. Mutter to take from here to another dose mutter gam chatchila, even deliberately. Because even we're concerned if you take off challah from the first one, you only take from that which is exempt, and that would be a problem. Nevertheless, there could be concerned in the second though. You're going to take only racking or only for that which is potter. You're not going to be concerned about this. I would talk about they took from the dough, which you mixed the sourdough of Ptur before you took off from the challah from the general dough. Because it was after it took off challah, the entire dough is exempt. How can you take put into another dough which is chayev? Hadla parish kain. That which you didn't specify it between the partial because it's obvious. Okay, and the bracket says K'divrei Hashach Ches. K'divrei Hashach is Dactic Tuva. Okay, whatever the Shach says is difficult. The rest of the bracket, the bracket says we saw it inside. Now I'm saying, Komash is Barim the Torah Sorrow should be so all this where sourdough gets mixed into dough. Chen Isa Shochiv Shis Arbich Isa Shoptur or an obligated dough which got mixed up into an exempt dough. Such as where 5/4 of flour got up of kemach got mixed in into a much larger dough where the chal is already taken off. But in that case, you can get another dough for taking it off the challah matov. How wonderful that would be. If not, you need all of those together. And you set aside the challah, rely on proportional mixture. That's true also if the measure gets mixed in is less than 5/4. But already was needed in a larger dough, which had a shear. And he took from that larger dough, chiyuv, and mixed it in, even less than 5 revoim. And iratoch is a sheptur mixed into a dough of ptur. Avolim misar pachas mechamishes revoim kemach. But if you have less than 5 quarters of flour that got mixed in doch is ptur to an exempt dough as isa shaisa pachas mishir challah, so that isa or a dough shaisa pachas mishir challah as less as challah sheis arvatoch isas ptur, they got mixed into a dough which is already exempt. The answer klum kanvan, obviously you need nothing, obviously. It's back to the Taz right as well. I'm not meaning this pass a flisha ptur b'tach pashel chiyuv. If a bread which is part, so got mixed into a bread which is chayv. This has different halachos when she's bar b'siyat tishmayas will become clarified. Lamches b'zeh shar be'er says b'siviyut base. He says by Tzmishin Yisarav lo pas shifra she'en chalo. Somebody who bread from which he says that chalo got mixed in pashlo for shemano with bread from which chalo has not been taken. Im yesh lo kemach, if he's that dough yasa isam chameshes vayim, we should make another batch of dough from 5 quarters, which is obligated. It's sending it across and joined together with these loaves kli in a vessel, so it'll be one batch, even though they're already baked. Yavish men also take from this new untied dough on that bread. Actually, the new dough he doesn't really even have to bake; it just puts the same keli. It sounds like. Yashar also kikrush nisarva and set aside tight it on also on those loaves got mixed in. He wants to do it from the chalos themselves. So I have to take a little bit from each and every loaf. Or join them all together in one vessel. And take from each one on all of them. Well, not sure what you get by that. Until you separate enough according to the reckoning of the loaves, and one more. Such as meaning, these arva besses loaf for shalem. You have 5 inches from which chayos been taken. Mixed up to 10 which haven't been taken. You average mishisha. You have to set aside from at least 6 loaves. Because then you certainly took one challah from one dough, which was effective. That you say you have to make a dough from 5 quarters. It's not necessary because some of them already had challah taken off, and some of them still require challah to be taken off, and they'll join up with those. But just saying the normal case. Saying this should make a cake, go into echad, and put it with one basket. I mean, it's challah b'challah. Yeah. So, but here it says he does bake it. So you take from obligated. And bracket says it has the same thing. So here's the reason to talk about not where they're joined together, the basket, but you're putting them close together. But here definitely need a shirchala, which is Bar Shamas will be clarified in Shin Chav Hey. But here definitely need a shirchala in whatever you're adding on. Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to see it there. K'moshes Bar Shamas will become clarified there. Pashlu l'chutzlaretz yochel l'chol mikol pas yirtzeh. In the chutzah to eat from any loaf you want. The bad shiyanich mat, as long as you leave at the end. Shebukadei tilas challah. So to be them left the challah shishor mat, as long as a little bit left. Because they challah in the end. The chutzah they eat the motzim and matzah. This is prevalent by matzah. Shek shehifish challah mikzaso. So refresh nisar yachad. Evidently, they were not quality. Didn't have quality control by matzahs. Some have challah take it off, some not. They got mixed together. So it's you have to do like we explained. Place by says in Shin Chafei, it's supposed to be clarified in Shin Chafei Ayin Sham. The bracket says going to Kivek because of the pas im isa ave kishnei minim. Which that clarifies what we were saying before. According to Kivek, it says they both have to be baked. You can't do from dough on bread. Arukh HaShulchan is not sure about that. Okay, that's it for today.